Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, Mrs. Wallace bought 12 pounds of oranges at the supermarket and paid $15. Which graph has a slope that represents this situation? Okay, so once I read the question, I'm gonna go back and see what looks familiar to me. And the word slope kind of does, right? Because slope, if we remember, it means something like rise over run, or I can also think about change of the y over change of the x. Is that right? Okay, we'll come back, and there's a formula that we can think of that in a minute. So let me go back to the information that is given to me. Well, I do see a 12, and this 12 represents the pounds of oranges that she bought. Okay, I see another number here that is 15. And that 15 represents the money that she paid for that many oranges. Okay, so the question is, I need to check which one of the graphs represents those numbers, right? Well, first of all, before I think about which one represents my numbers, I gotta look at the graphs, right? And I need to check who's gonna be X and who's gonna be Y. For example, I'm gonna go ahead and find where the pounds are represented in the graph. And the pounds, I see them on the X. In every single one of them, pounds is on X. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna say that 12 then should be considered with my pounds, which is X. Okay? What about money? Wouldn't that be the cost that she's gonna pay for? So I do see cost on the Y axis. So when I come back to my problem, the 15 will be my Y value. Okay, are we doing okay so far? Awesome. So now I can do two things. I can write down my change of the Y over change of the X with the given numbers. And the Y is gonna be $15 and the X is gonna be 12 pounds. Okay? Can I simplify that? Because if you come back to the graphs, the highest number that I see on the graph is a 10. So let me show you that. The 10 is the highest one. Is that right? So I cannot really use the 15 on the y-axis. So what I need to do is I need to simplify my fraction. Simplify means, can I find a number that divides both of them? Okay? So 15 and 12, both of them can be divided by 3. And I will get a 5 and a 4. Is that right? I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to write it down below here. So I said the change of the y over the change of the x. And before I even write the numbers, I want you to consider the labels for that. The y is the cost or the money. Is that right? The x is the pounds. Okay? So what I want to do next is I'm going to write down my equivalency that I found from 15 over 12. And my equivalency that I found was 5 over 4. So what does that mean? It means that $5 will be the cost for 4 pounds. So let me go ahead and put the money sign over here so that we don't get confused. So Mrs. Wallace will also pay $5 for 4 pounds. And I know what you're saying, Miss, but she said that she already paid $15 for 12 pounds. Yes, but what we're trying to find out, it's more like the simplifying of my fraction 15 over 12 so that I can actually find it on my graph. Is that right? Now, you can either go to the graph and find those numbers. So I am going to find 5 on on who? On X or Y? I'm going to find 5 on the Y. So I'm going to do it in another way in a minute, but I'm going to take this approach right now. So I'm going to go to graph A, for example, and I'm going to go ahead and find 5 on Y, which is right here. Then I'm going to find 4 on X, which is right here. I'm going to circle these two numbers. So the point where these two numbers intersect, should it be up here? Is that even on the line? It's not, right? Okay, so that's how I know that A cannot be an answer. So 5, again, I'm going to go to the Y, and I'm going to find it here. That's a 5. And I'm going to find 4 on the X. And the point where these two intersect, that should be my point for the one that I'm looking for. And again, I don't see it on the line. So it doesn't seem like A or C should be my answers. What about B? So I'm going to go and find 5, which is right here. And 4, it's right here on the bottom. And the point where these two intersect should be my point of intersection. And bingo, what do you see? I can actually see the point on the line. Is that correct? Okay, so we can look at that approach like that, just going for the labels, but labels are very, very important, guys. Okay, another thing that you could have done, and I don't know if I will get anybody confused, I hope not, is by actually writing the ordered pair. And I hope that you go back and put labels. For example, X is the pounds and Y is the cost. So when I write my numbers, I am not going to write down 5, 4, because the pounds is actually a 4 and the cost is actually a 5. So when I come back, now I can see where the 4 and the 5 should be. Yes, are you guys with me? Okay, so what about letter D? This should be letter D. It's okay. We'll put D in there. So I'm looking for 4 and 5. This is 4 and this is 5. Is my line even close to that point? And the answer is no. The only one that I can see the point on the line is letter B. Another thing that I am going to extend it, guys, is like thinking about equivalent fractions. Okay, so my change of the Y and my change of the X was 5/4. I'm going to put a comma because I want to find an equivalent fraction to that. What equivalent would be 10 and 8, and the next one will be 15 and 12. And I want you to look at that 15 and 12 and the one that we found earlier. Isn't that exactly the same? So basically what I did is I found, and I'm going to write it over here, I found more points that I can use on the graph. So I'm going to write down my points just like the way I put 4 and 5. So the next point for 10 and 8, well, 10 is Y, then it goes here. 8 is X, it goes first. So I am going to go look for point 8 and 10, just on the letter B, since that's the one that I said that it looks like my answer should be that. So I'm going to go to 8, which is right here, and 10 is way up here, and the point where these two intersect is right there. Does it look like that point is on the line? It sure does, right? Okay, awesome. So that means that my answer should be letter B for this one.